The story opens at the engagement celebration of a young woman named Danica. Her closest friend Ava was there, along with Ava's former boyfriend Milo and Danica's fiancé Teddy. The four had shared a tight bond since their high school days. Once the party ended, they decided to take a drive together. Along the road, they ran into another familiar face from the past, Stevie. But life after school hadn't been kind to her. Stevie's father had disappeared with her college savings, leaving her to scrape by on short-term, low-paying work. Even so, the group invited her to come along. It was the 4th of July, and the roads were busy with people heading out to watch fireworks. In a reckless moment, Teddy stepped into the street, almost challenging an oncoming car to strike him at the last possible second. Milo reacted instantly, diving forward and dragging Teddy out of danger. The group snapped at Teddy for acting so carelessly. Then another vehicle suddenly appeared, swerving hard to avoid him. The driver lost control and crashed into the roadside barrier. The car rocked violently, stopping just inches from the edge of the cliff. Everyone rushed toward it, frantically trying to keep it from going over. The driver was alive, but no matter how hard they tried, the car slipped free and plunged into the ravine below. Ava and Stevie begged the others, insisting they couldn't abandon the injured person. Teddy, however, called the police. He claimed the accident had been reported and demanded they leave at once. Ava and Stevie refused. Walking away wasn't an option to them. Someone down there needed help, but the rest chose to turn back. They climbed into their car and drove off, even passing a police vehicle heading toward the scene. Instead of stopping, they went straight to Teddy's house. There, Teddy promised that his father would take care of everything. All they had to do was keep quiet. After a tense pause, everyone agreed. Even Ava, despite her unease, was eventually persuaded to stay silent. The story then jumps ahead 1 year. Ava returns to her hometown, arriving at the airport. There, she meets a young woman named Tyler, who happens to be heading to the same destination. Since Milo was driving with Ava, she offered Tyler a lift. Along the way, Tyler revealed her purpose. She was producing a horror podcast about a savage massacre that had shaken the town back in 1997. Not long after, Ava and Milo reached Danica's bridal shower, where Stevie was also in attendance. As Danica opened her gifts, she discovered a plain envelope tucked among them. Inside was a chilling message. "I know what you did last summer." Shaken, Danica demanded to know who sent it. She tried to hide her fear, but just then, her fiancé walked in. It wasn't Teddy. Danica and Teddy were no longer together. Danica immediately suspected Teddy had sent the note as a cruel joke, believing no one else knew about that horrific night. Worried, Milo, Ava, and Stevie went to confront Teddy on his boat. Teddy denied everything. He swore the letter wasn't from him and insisted he had nothing to do with it. Coldly, he told them to leave and stay out of his life. Teddy made it clear he didn't want any part of their problems. His relationship with his father was already strained enough. That evening, Danica sensed someone watching her from outside her house. Suddenly, her fiancé Wyatt crept up behind her, startling her badly. Shaken, Danica decided to take a bath. She put on her headphones, letting music drown out the world as she relaxed. Downstairs, the pool lights suddenly flicked on in front of Wyatt. As Wyatt stepped closer to investigate, the lights shut off again. He turned just as an arrow flew out of the darkness, striking him. Disoriented, he couldn't see his attacker. A second arrow pierced him before he could react. Then a figure emerged, a killer in a fisherman's slicker, who finished the job with a savage blow from a fishing hook. Danica heard none of it, her music drowning out every sound. When she finally came back downstairs, she found Wyatt's lifeless body sprawled before her. Beside him was a message written with chilling intent. "You can't erase the past." Soon after, everyone gathered at the police station. Teddy arrived as well. His father had already spoken with the police chief, and officers were assigned to keep watch over Danica's home. Inside the station, Ava finally confessed to Danica why she had pulled away from the group. Being forced to lie about that night had shattered her. The guilt had eaten at her every day since. By the next morning, it was obvious someone was hunting them, though the identity of the attacker remained unknown. Milo then asked Ava about the girl named Tyler. Danica decided to listen to Tyler's podcast. In the episode, Tyler explained that in 1997, the town had been terrorized by a killer wearing a fisherman's slicker. The murderer stalked a group of teenagers after they had committed a killing of their own. It all started with a single message. Hearing this, the group felt a wave of dread. The same pattern was unfolding again. Another disturbing truth soon emerged. Teddy's father had wiped all records of the 1997 events from the internet, protecting the town's reputation and keeping investors from backing out. The story then follows Tyler as she wanders through town, recording her podcast. During this time, Ava met up with her. Tyler brought Ava to Bayside House, explaining it was the site of one of the Fisherman killer's most brutal attacks. Tyler revealed that 3 decades earlier, a girl named Julie had received a terrifying note reading, "I know what you did last summer." Hearing this, Ava grew suspicious. Could Tyler herself be behind the killings? Tyler explained that Julie was actually one of only 2 survivors from that time. Though Julie refused to speak with her, Tyler rushed off to chase her next lead. Meanwhile, Ava quickly texted her friends, warning them that Tyler seemed suspicious. Suddenly, the fisherman killer in a slicker appeared before Ava. It wasn't Tyler. The attacker lunged at her, and Tyler tried to escape, but the doors were locked. Ava struggled fiercely against the assailant. Then, as suddenly as it appeared, the killer vanished, and a heavy cage dropped down, trapping Ava inside. Tyler fled, running for her life, but it became clear that Ava was the real target. By the time Ava pried open the cage, it was too late. Tyler was dead. Stevie arrived just in time to aid Ava, but both froze in terror as the killer displayed Tyler's lifeless body, dangling it right in front of them like a warning. Shortly after, the police arrived again, but it was clear they were under Teddy's father's influence. They would only cover up the crime. The story then shifts to Julie, the survivor of the 1997 massacre. Even now, memories haunted her. Ava sought her out, explaining that the same nightmare was repeating. 2 of their friends were already dead. Ava begged Julie for help, reminding her of the survival she had once achieved and pleading for guidance to stay alive again. Julie led Ava to her home, explaining that if history was repeating, the killer had to be connected to the boy who had died in the accident years ago. Ava admitted she knew nothing about that boy. No records existed, and the police had covered everything. Finding answers seemed impossible. Julie offered one piece of advice: find the killer before he finds you. Meanwhile, Teddy's father, Grant, and the police chief declared Tyler's death a suicide, claiming she was mentally unstable. Milo and Ava refused to believe it. They argued that Tyler's death wasn't an isolated case. Danica's fiancé had been murdered only days earlier, and Ava herself had survived an attack by the fisherman in a slicker. At that moment, another figure appeared, Ray, the second survivor from 1997. He explained that this had all happened before and was repeating now. But Grant refused to listen. He insisted the police would protect everyone and claimed the church would remain a sanctuary for the town. Pastor Judah himself urged everyone to gather at the church, promising a special prayer for their safety. The story then moves to Stevie, working at Ray's bar. The group confided everything to Ray, and he revealed the truth. Julie was actually his ex-wife. Following his advice, they began searching for the boy who had died in the original accident, Sam Cooper. Their first step was finding out whose car Sam had been driving that night. At the office, authorities asked for the license plate. Ava pretended she'd lost the paperwork after her brother's accident on the 4th of July last year. Milo added that it was a pickup truck and asked them to check if anyone had registered a similar vehicle during that time. That's when they discovered the vehicle belonged to Pastor Judah. Meanwhile, Danica and Teddy went to the cemetery to search for Sam Cooper's grave. They also found graves of those killed in 1997. Danica even uncovered an old photograph of a girl named Helen. At Sam Cooper's grave, fresh flowers had been left, proof someone familiar with him had visited recently. Danica asked the security guard about it. The guard went inside to check CCTV footage, but the killer struck first, murdering him before he could return. When Teddy went inside after waiting too long, the attacker slipped past and targeted Danica. She ran into a warehouse trying to hide, but the killer found her, ready to finish the attack. Teddy appeared just in time, forcing the killer to retreat into the shadows. The story then shifts back to Julie. Her home security detected movement outside. Armed with scissors, she crept toward the door. But it wasn't the killer. It was Ray. He confronted her angrily, asking why she had sent Ava searching for the murderer. Ray explained that one of the girls working at his bar was part of their group, a good girl who didn't deserve danger. Just then, Ava and Stevie called out to them. The focus returned to the friends gathered at Danica's house for safety. When Stevie had to leave for her shift at the bar, Danica insisted no one should sleep alone. This meant Ava and Milo shared a room. The two grew closer, almost crossing the line into intimacy. But when Ava whispered, "Punish me, just listen," Milo froze. He pulled away, stopped himself, and walked out of the room. Sitting alone in his car, Milo tried to psych himself up. "You can do this," he muttered. Summoning his courage, he stepped out, and in that instant, the killer struck. A rope tightened around his neck, cutting off his breath until Milo was dead. From the window, Ava watched Milo's car drive away. Moments later, a message came from his phone. "I just need some time." The next day, Ava and Danica went to the church to meet Pastor Judah, but he wasn't there. Danica used the chance to sneak into his private room while Ava distracted him. Inside, she found a photograph of Judah with Sam Cooper, but then Judah unexpectedly walked in. Danica hid inside the closet, holding her breath. Afterwards, both Ava and Danica rushed to the police chief, insisting Judah was the killer. Instead of helping, the chief reported everything back to Grant. He dismissed the girls as hysterical and ordered that they be kept at the station temporarily. The story then returns to Teddy. Teddy was relaxing in the steam room when he noticed noises tapping against the glass. Someone had written, "You are next." Soon, doors began slamming shut on their own. As Teddy stepped out to investigate, the killer ambushed him from behind with a sharp knife. The fisherman in the slicker stabbed him repeatedly. Teddy fought back with all his strength, then crawled desperately toward his home for safety. Meanwhile, inside, Grant sat listening to music, oblivious to the chaos outside. Fireworks lit the night sky. On the lawn, the killer dragged Teddy back toward the house. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. Grant opened the door, only to see his son, drenched in blood, lying before him. At that moment, the attacker struck again, killing Grant instantly on his own doorstep. Afterward, Danica thought she heard someone calling her name. She went outside and saw a girl holding a fishing hook. Right in front of her lay Wyatt's lifeless body. Looking closer, Danica realized it was Helen, one of the 1997 survivors. Helen said, "You killed Sam Cooper. Now your fiancé is dead." She warned Danica she would be next. Then Helen transformed into a ghost and lunged at her. Suddenly, Danica woke up. It had all been a nightmare. Meanwhile, chaos erupted at the police station. The entire town gathered after the killer had displayed Grant and Teddy's bodies for everyone to see. Ray told the 3 surviving girls they had to escape immediately to survive. Panic overtook them as the danger became all too real. But then Ava discovered Milo's dead body inside his car, leaving them with no other choice. The 3 stole Teddy's boat and fled at once. Police arrived at the church searching for Pastor Judah, but found him already dead. An officer noticed a photo showing Sam Cooper and Judah, with Stevie standing beside them. It became clear. Stevie had been the real killer all along. Stevie then attacked Danica and Ava. She revealed her face and confessed she had loved Sam Cooper. Sam had been on his way to pick her up in Judah's car that night. Judah had known about the crash, but accepted hush money from Grant to stay silent. Stevie killed Judah as well. When she discovered Sam had perished in the car, her entire world collapsed around her. At first, Stevie considered ending her own life, but instead decided everyone else would pay. Anna tried to grab a flare to signal for help and screamed. Danica fought back against Stevie. Ray arrived on the boat to assist, but Stevie pressed her fishing hook to Danica's throat in a swift motion. She killed her instantly. Ray yelled, "Why would you do this? Why didn't you come to me?" Then he shot Stevie dead. Afterwards, Ava called Julie to inform her that Stevie had been the killer. Julie searched for Stevie's name online, but struggled to believe it. Panic set in as she fled. Ava stayed with Ray at his bar, but then noticed a wound on Ray's hand, the same spot where Ava had struck the killer during Tyler's murder. A cold sense of fear overtook her. Ava tried to leave, but the exit was locked. Ray said, "You know it's me." Ava ran, but he caught her and tried to strike. She smashed a window to escape, but Ray would not let go. She never fought back. Just then, Julie arrived to help. She saw Ava badly hurt. Ray stepped out smirking and said, "Happy 4th of July, Julie." That was when the truth surfaced. Stevie had enlisted Ray to help her revenge. Ray was furious the town had buried the events of 1997, pretending the victims had been forgotten. Together, they carried out the Fisherman's slicker killings. Ray sneered, "Now I'll reveal the real killer, Julie. You never got over 1997. You orchestrated all this." Before he could finish, Ava, following Julie's instructions, shot Ray with a crossbow. At the same time, Danica, who had survived, crawled to the center of the pier, barely conscious. Days later, both Ava and Danica were shown recovering in the hospital. And with that, friends, this story comes to a close. Share your thoughts in the comments about this explanation. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel